Life can change in an instant. In these moments of crisis, it's easy to succumb to fear, but it's also when we discover our true strength. Nelson Mandela, a symbol of hope and resilience, spent 27 years imprisoned for his fight against apartheid in South Africa. Aron Ralston, an avid adventurer, found himself trapped by a boulder in a remote Utah canyon. Despite their different struggles, a common thread of resilience binds them together. Both Mandela and Ralston faced their own unique forms of fear. Mandela confronted the fear of a lifetime lost in prison, while Ralston faced the primal fear of death, alone in the wilderness. Their stories teach us to harness inner strength to not only survive, but thrive. Nelson Mandela's journey to becoming a global icon of peace and equality began with a long and arduous walk to prison. Mandela's activism made him a target of the South African government, leading to numerous arrests and detentions. In 1964, Mandela was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Robben Island, intended to break his spirit, became the crucible in which his legend was forged. Mandela's true character shone through, illuminating the path to freedom for himself and his nation. Robben Island was a stark and unforgiving place. Mandela and his fellow political prisoners endured backbreaking labor and deplorable living conditions.
Yet, amidst the deprivation, I discovered an indomitable spirit within myself and my fellow prisoners. We refused to be broken by the system designed to crush us. My weapon of choice was dignity, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of forgiveness.
In the isolation of his cell, Mandela embarked on a journey of self-discovery.
I penned letters and secretly drafted manuscripts, my words carrying a message of hope and defiance.
Mandela's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit to transcend even the most challenging circumstances. He showed the world that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, we have the power to choose hope over despair. Aron Ralston, a young and adventurous climber, found himself in the unforgiving embrace of nature's raw power.
As I navigated the narrow slot canyons, a sense of awe washed over me.
But in a cruel twist of fate, the very landscape that captivated Ralston's spirit would soon become his prison.
Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of my situation.
As hours turned into days, Ralston faced the harrowing reality of his predicament.
I rationed my meager supply of water and food, knowing that time was slipping away.
Ralston knew that no rescue team was coming, and he had to make a drastic, life-altering decision to survive. As Ralston grappled with his harrowing choice, he found himself reflecting on his life.
I realized that if I chose to give up, I would be surrendering not just my life, but also the very essence of who I was.
The thought of his loved ones fueled a flicker of resolve within him.
I knew what I had to do. It was terrifying, but it was my only chance.
Faced with an unimaginable choice, both Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston arrived at a pivotal moment of truth.
For me, it was the prison of bitterness, the chains of hatred that threatened to consume me.
For Ralston, it was the literal prison of the canyon.
My only chance of survival lay in confronting my fear and making the agonizing choice to sever a part of myself to save the whole.
My journey to freedom was a gradual, arduous climb towards a different kind of liberation.
Mandela's release from prison in 1990 was a moment of global celebration.
My moment of liberation was as sudden as it was brutal.
Ralston's escape from the canyon was a testament to the human spirit's remarkable capacity for resilience. The stories of Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston offer powerful lessons about the potential that resides within us all.
My journey teaches us the transformative power of forgiveness.
My story reminds us of the extraordinary strength that lies dormant within each of us.
Both men embody the triumph of the human spirit, reminding us to choose hope, embrace resilience, and emerge stronger from adversity. The stories of Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston stand as towering examples of human resilience and the power to overcome unimaginable adversity. They inspire us with their extraordinary courage and determination.
We might be tempted to view their experiences as exceptional, as stories that exist in a realm beyond our own everyday lives. After all, most of us will never face the horrors of political imprisonment or the life or death stakes of being trapped in a remote canyon.
However, their stories, while extraordinary in their circumstances, hold profound relevance for each of us, regardless of our background or the challenges we face. The essence of their struggles, the confrontation with fear, the struggle to maintain hope, the search for strength amidst vulnerability, these are universal human experiences.
We may not all be called upon to endure decades of unjust imprisonment or to make life-altering decisions in the face of imminent death, but life, in its own subtle and often unexpected ways, presents each of us with our own unique set of challenges.
These challenges may not make headlines or inspire Hollywood movies, but they are no less real, no less daunting in the context of our own lives. The question then becomes, how do we translate the lessons of Mandela and Ralston, lessons forged in the crucible of extreme adversity, to the challenges we face in our own lives?
How do we tap into that wellspring of resilience that allowed them to not only survive but to thrive in the face of overwhelming odds?
Just as Nelson Mandela endured the physical and psychological confinement of Robben Island, we can find ourselves imprisoned by invisible shackles of our own making.
These shackles may take many forms: the fear of failure that paralyzes us from pursuing our dreams, the weight of past mistakes that keeps us tethered to guilt and shame, the anxiety that clouds our vision and prevents us from embracing the fullness of life.
These self-imposed limitations can be just as debilitating as any physical barrier. They can keep us trapped in cycles of self-doubt, fear, and inaction, preventing us from living the lives we truly desire and are capable of living.
We may long for a different life, a life filled with greater purpose, joy, and fulfillment, but the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, can keep us tethered to the familiar, even if the familiar brings us little joy.
Like the walls of Mandela's prison cell, these self-imposed limitations are often constructs of our own minds.
We may have internalized negative messages from our past, or we may have allowed fear to distort our perception of our own abilities. Whatever the cause, these limiting beliefs can keep us trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage, preventing us from stepping into our full potential.
The key to breaking free from these self-imposed limitations lies in recognizing them for what they are: constructs of the mind, not immutable truths.
Just as Mandela refused to let his spirit be broken by the confines of his prison cell, we too can choose to challenge these limiting beliefs, to question their validity, and to replace them with thoughts that empower us to grow and thrive.
The journeys of Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston beautifully illustrate how adversity, though often perceived as a destructive force, can also serve as a catalyst for profound personal growth and transformation.
Their stories are not just about overcoming obstacles. They are about emerging from the crucible of suffering transformed, possessing a depth of character, a resilience of spirit, and a clarity of purpose that they might not have otherwise discovered.
Mandela's 27 years of imprisonment, though a grave injustice, became the crucible in which his leadership and his capacity for forgiveness were forged.
He emerged from prison not as a broken man, but as a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of the human spirit to transcend even the most inhumane treatment.
Ralston's harrowing experience in the canyon, though physically and emotionally scarring, became a turning point in his life.
He emerged from that ordeal not just as a survivor, but as an advocate for the power of resilience, a living testament to the human spirit's ability to find strength in the face of unimaginable adversity.
Their stories challenge us to reframe our understanding of adversity.
What if, instead of viewing challenges as setbacks, we viewed them as opportunities for growth, as crucibles in which our character is tested and refined?
What if we approached hardship not with fear and resistance, but with a sense of curiosity, a willingness to learn and evolve through the experience? It's often in the aftermath of great challenges that we discover our true purpose, the reason we were meant to walk this earth. Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston, each in their own way, embody this profound truth.
Their stories remind us that our struggles, far from being meaningless, often contain within them the seeds of our greatest contributions to the world.
Mandela's imprisonment, though intended to silence him, amplified his voice on a global scale. He emerged from prison not just as a free man, but as a global icon, a symbol of hope and inspiration for millions around the world, fighting for equality and justice.
Ralston's experience in the canyon, though deeply personal, resonated with people far beyond the world of outdoor adventure. His story became a testament to the power of the human spirit, a source of inspiration for anyone facing adversity, regardless of the nature of their struggle.
Their journeys remind us that our experiences, even the most painful ones, can serve a greater purpose. They can shape us, mold us, and ultimately guide us towards a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. The key is to remain open to the lessons that life presents, to trust that even in the midst of our struggles, a greater plan is unfolding. The stories of Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston, vastly different in their settings and circumstances, echo with a universal truth. Within each of us resides a wellspring of courage waiting to be tapped. Their journeys remind us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. It's the decision to act, to persevere, to choose hope even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds.
Mandela's courage was not found on the battlefield, but in the quiet defiance of his spirit. It was the courage to endure years of unjust imprisonment without succumbing to bitterness or hatred, the courage to emerge from the crucible of oppression as a beacon of forgiveness and reconciliation.
His story challenges us to find courage, not in extraordinary feats of strength, but in the everyday acts of kindness, compassion, and unwavering commitment to justice.
Ralston's courage was visceral, born out of desperation and the will to live. His story, though extreme in its circumstances, speaks to the potential for courage that lies dormant within each of us, waiting to be awakened in moments of crisis.
It reminds us that we are capable of enduring far more than we think we can, of summoning unimaginable strength when we need it most. We may never face the horrors of political imprisonment or the life or death stakes of being trapped in a remote canyon. Yet, life has a way of presenting each of us with our own Blue John Canyons. Those moments when we feel trapped, overwhelmed, and uncertain about the future. These challenges may not make headlines, but they are no less real, no less daunting in the context of our own lives.
It could be the loss of a loved one, a career setback, a health crisis, or the breakdown of a relationship. It's in these moments, when the weight of our circumstances threatens to crush us, that we must remember the lessons of Mandela and Ralston.
We must dig deep within ourselves to find the strength to carry on, to choose hope over despair, and to believe that even in the darkest of times, we possess the resilience to overcome. Their stories remind us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by how we choose to respond to them.
We can choose to allow adversity to break us, or we can choose to let it shape us, mold us, and ultimately lead us to a place of greater strength, wisdom, and compassion.
This is a time for courage. The world is facing unprecedented challenges: a global pandemic, climate change, social and political unrest. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to succumb to fear and despair. But it's precisely in times like these that we must remember the lessons of Mandela and Ralston.
We must summon the courage to face our fears, to embrace hope, and to work together to create a better future. Their stories remind us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit is capable of extraordinary resilience, compassion, and creativity.
We have the power to overcome the challenges we face, but it will require us to tap into our shared humanity, to embrace our interconnectedness, and to work together towards a common goal.
Let us honor the legacies of Nelson Mandela and Aron Ralston, not just with words, but with action. Let us find the courage to face our own challenges with the same resilience and determination that they embodied. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, and let us inspire others to do the same.
For in the words of Nelson Mandela himself, it always seems impossible until it's done. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspirational content, and share the video with others who might benefit from its message. Thank you for watching.